to our channel Try or Catch. As you know, we continue our playlist system design. Today's topic is data replication. What is data replication? Data replication can be used in many database management systems, usually with a master slave relationship between the original and the copy slave. Usually इसका मतलब क्या होता है? In previous design, we see multiple server, single server, these topics. But there was a single database we use. In this scenario, we use multiple server with multiple database. Like this is our web server. This web server has a master database and a slave database. What it means? The master database is a original database while slave database is a copy of master database. Usually इसका पर्पस क्या होता है? When server request to the database for data, server when many people request on server to get data, server gets down. Sometimes server gets down. That's why we introduce data replication concept where we create a master database which have only purpose for write operation, and we create a slave database, a copy of master database where we perform all read operation. We perform all changes in master database while when we request database from server we can use slave database. तो ट्रैफिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है जिससे सर्वर पे कम लोड पड़ता है. What is purpose? Master database. A master database generally only support write operation. As we discussed, master database only support write operation. All the data modifying command like insert, delete, or update must be sent to the master database. All the database modifying command like insert, delete, update must be sent to master database. If we want to change in database, we command to the master database. If we want some data delete from the database, we command to the master database. If we want to insert some data in database, we command to the master database. That purpose use master database. What's purpose of slave database? A slave database get copy of data from the master database and only support read operation. Basically, slave database is a copy of master database which use the purpose for read operation. Most applications require a much higher ratio of read to write. Like there are many applications which require only read operation as compared to write operation. That's why we use slave database. The number of slave database in system is usually larger than the number of master database. Like if we have a one master database and three slave database, these all are helpful for read operation. Whenever we need to read the data from database, we request to the slave database. Whenever we have modified some data in database, we request to the master database. Advantage of database replication. Why we use database replication? For better performance. It reduces traffic on the server. In master slave model, all write and update happen in master node. All write operation are happen in master database. where read operation are distributed across the slave node, while read operation distributed to the slave database. This model improved performance because it allowed more queries to be processed in parallel. This model are efficient because we process lots of query at the same time. This is a master database. This is a slave database. When 3 to 4 people want to read from the database, these queries are distributed to the slave database, while one person want to write on database, that person have access to the master database. That's why we use database replication. We have re- reliability. If one of your database server is destroyed by natural disasters such as earthquake, typhoon, etc., data is still preserved. Like some database are situated in Mumbai. Due to natural disasters, these database stations destroyed, completely destroyed, not possible to recover data. So their copy are preserved in somewhere. You do not need to worry about data losses because data is replicated across multiple locations. Your data lost from Mumbai location, but your data are preserved in some other location. So we create a healthy slave database and put that database. So we have preserve our data. Third one is high availability. By replicating data across different locations, your website remain in operation even if a database is offline as you can access data stored in another database server. Like uh, one database are offline in other database are online. So the person requests data from database. These databases are offline. The person have access to the this database. So services easily not down. This way, person efficiently access the data. That's why we use data replication. This is the most important thing in system design. Note important point discuss करते हैं. In previous videos, we discussed how a load balancer helped to improve system availability. We ask the same question here. What if one of database goes offline? प्रीवियस वीडियोस में हमने देखा था कि लोड बैलेंसर कैसे हेल्प करता था सिस्टम की इंप्रूवमेंट को इंक्रीज करने के लिए. सेम हम वही देख रहे हैं. इफ वन डेटाबेस goes offline, what happened? If one, if only one slave database is available and it goes offline, there's like we have a master database, one slave database. This slave database goes offline. So all operations are performed on these master database. These master database become master database as well as slave database. As if one slave database is available and it goes offline, read operation will be directed to the master database temporarily. Temporary basis पे read operation and write operation perform होगा master database पे. As soon as the issue is found, a new slave database will replace the old. We detect the problem and we replace the new healthy slave database to that issue database. In case multiple slave databases are available, read operations are redirected to the healthy slave database. In case we have a one master database, two slave database. If these are goes fail, then all operations are happen to that slave database. This is the importance of data replication. Second point क्या है? If the master database goes offline, a slave database will be promoted to the new master database. What it means, if I have a master database, I have a slave database. If my master database goes down, these new healthy slave database promoted to the master database. वही थ्योरी में भी लिखा हुआ, all the database operation will be temporarily executed on the new master database. A new slave database will replace the old one of database replication immediately. These are most important points of data replication. We understand through a diagram. There is a user request DNS for IP address. This IP address request to the load balancer. Load balancer request to the server via private IP. Private IP. This server request to the master database and slave database for write operation. For write operation, request goes to the master database. For read operation, request goes to the slave database. Figure shows the system design after adding the load balancer and database replication. As we learned in video, they are written in English format. A user get the IP address from the load balancer from DNS. DNS user को IP address provide करेगा. A user connect the load balancer with this IP address. User उस particular IP address से load balancer पे connect करेगा. Then load balancer private IP address से server को connect करेगा. और HTTP request is routed to either server 1 and server 2. These HTTP requests routed via private IP address which provided by load balancer. A web server reads user data from slave database. Web server read the user data from slave database. If user request for read operation, web server request the read operation from through the slave database. A web server route any data modifying operation to the master database. If we have write operations, web server request to the master database. Our next topic is cache. What is cache? Why we use cache? CDN, etc. Thank you.